Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. RHOC, Janssen shoots down sugar mama Shannon Beador's claims. Janssen is shooting down the claims that RHOC star Shannon Beador was his sugar mama and paid for everything. The two dated for several years after her divorce from David Beador. Then, when they broke up, things literally came crashing down, and Shannon is trying to fix it. Unfortunately, things are not going the way Shannon would have liked them to. Keep reading for more details. Shannon Beador long maintained that she was the one who supported her lifestyle with Janssen when they dated. She also noted how he was a very private person. Therefore, she struggled when he started dating RHOC alum, Alexis Bellino. They were all over social media, plus he was buying her lavish and expensive gifts. That was a bitter pill to swallow for Shannon, who knew how much she had spent when she was with John. As this was going on, Shannon was dealing with her DUI hit-and-run arrest. She also had to film season 18 with Alexis, who returned after nearly a decade as a friend. Very early on in the season, John sued Shannon for $75,000, he loaned her for a facelift, etc. She claimed it was a gift, and they did things like that during the relationship. To add insult to injury, Alexis alleged that John had ring footage from the night of Shannon's DUI. She supposedly almost hit his daughter with her car, and it is extremely damaging, so fans are livid that nothing is being done about the blackmail. Shannon Beador offered Janssen half of what he was asking, and he declined. According to Monsters and Critics, John and Alexis appeared on the Thursday, September 12th episode of WWHL with Andy Cohen. Andy said this: "We got a lot of questions wanting to know why you didn't take Shannon's offer with a no disparaging clause." John responded by saying, "Because I have been disparaged for almost 5 years. Why would I put a legal muzzle on myself so that I can't actually correct the record?" Though he did not want to get too in-depth, he shared some tidbits. "I mean, she pays for everything and she's my sugar mama. That couldn't be further from the truth, and that was damaging to me. I fat-shamed her, couldn't be further from the truth." Viewers did not care for Alexis Bellino, who was a guest on WWHL with newcomer Katie Janella. Janssen happened to be in the audience, so that allowed him to speak his truth. However, viewers who saw them were ready for them to exit immediately, if not sooner. Andy, please stop giving Alexis and John screen time. Most of your audience is TM Shannon. Guess what, at Bravo no one cares about Alexis or John. Bravo is so tone-deaf this season. No one wants to see this lady on our screens, let alone him. Yuck, seriously, this is becoming too much. Nothing brings more Bravo people together than our disdain for these two. The lights of Orange County had never been as bright as they were this season, with drama, betrayal, and swirling rumors taking center stage on The Real Housewives of Orange County. But the latest bombshell came from an unexpected source: Shannon Beador and her ex-boyfriend Janssen, whose fractured relationship had been making waves both on and off the screen. Shannon, the outspoken, wine-loving housewife known for her chaotic energy and roller-coaster emotions, had gone public with claims that she'd been acting as a sugar mama to John throughout their relationship, a statement that sent shockwaves through the RHOC fandom. But in a dramatic twist, Janssen wasn't about to sit quietly, as Shannon portrayed him as a man who had taken financial advantage of her. In an exclusive interview, he broke his silence, shooting down Shannon's claims and offering a vastly different version of their time together. The rise of their romance. Janssen and Shannon Beador's romance had once seemed like a fairy tale. After Shannon's very public and painful divorce from David Beador, John was the breath of fresh air she desperately needed. The chemistry between them was undeniable, and for a time, it appeared Shannon had finally found her happily ever after. "I was so in love with her," John admitted in the interview. "We shared a lot of good times, and I'll never deny that. But the way she's portraying our relationship now, like she was some kind of benefactor or sugar mama, is not only hurtful but completely untrue. From fancy dinners at Newport Beach's finest restaurants to spontaneous trips to exclusive resorts, Shannon had painted a picture of herself as the one picking up the tab time and time again, insinuating that John had relied on her wealth for an extravagant lifestyle. In her confessional interviews, Shannon seemed almost bitter, as though her generosity had been taken for granted. "Look, I'm not saying John's a bad person," Shannon had said on the show, swirling her glass of white wine with a pointed look. "But when you're the one constantly paying for everything, it starts to feel a little one-sided. I never minded at first. I loved him. But after a while, it's like, hey, what about me?" John's side of the story. But John's version of events was very different. He insisted that the financial dynamics in their relationship had never been as lopsided as Shannon claimed. "I make a good living. I always have. I paid my share," John asserted, his voice firm but controlled. "The idea that I was somehow taking advantage of her financially is absurd. Yes, Shannon has a lot of money, and sometimes she wanted to cover things, but that was her choice. I never asked or expected her to." According to John, their relationship had far more depth than Shannon's sugar mama narrative suggested. "We were partners. I supported her in ways that weren't financial, and she knew that. I was there for her emotionally. I helped with her daughters. I stood by her through tough times, including those moments when she was struggling with her own insecurities and issues. But she's chosen to reduce our entire relationship to this idea of money, and that's not fair to me." John's words were a sharp contrast to the image Shannon had painted on the show, and it was clear that he felt betrayed by how the narrative had spun out of control. In his mind, their relationship wasn't about money. It was about love, companionship, and mutual support. The root of the rumors. So why, then, had Shannon chosen to push this sugar mama angle? For many fans, it seemed like a way for Shannon to cope with the breakup, a defense mechanism to shield her from the heartbreak she'd endured. After all, Shannon had been very open about how devastated she was when John ended their relationship. She felt blindsided, a source close to Shannon revealed. John ended things suddenly, and Shannon wasn't ready for that. She felt like everything she'd invested in the relationship, both emotionally and financially, was just thrown away. John, however, stood by his decision to end the relationship. "It wasn't an easy choice," he admitted, his tone softening slightly. "But at the end of the day, I realized we just weren't right for each other. There were too many ups and downs, too much drama. I care about Shannon, but I couldn't keep going the way we were. I had to walk away for both of our sakes." Friends turned foes. As the fallout from Shannon's claims continued to ripple through the RHOC universe, both sides appeared to be digging in their heels. Shannon's co-stars, ever the opinionated bunch, were quick to chime in with their own takes on the situation. Some, like Emily Simpson and Gina Kirschenheiter, seemed to side with John, suggesting that Shannon might have been embellishing the financial aspect of their relationship to make herself feel better about the breakup. "I've known Shannon for years," Gina said during a recent episode. "She's a generous person, no doubt, but I think there's more to this story than just money." Others, like Heather Dubrow, were more sympathetic to Shannon's plight. "Breakups are hard, especially when you've given so much of yourself to someone," Heather mused. "I think Shannon's just hurting right now, and maybe she feels like this is the only way she can take back some control." But for John, the damage had already been done. His reputation was on the line, and while he didn't regret walking away from Shannon, he clearly wished things had ended on a more peaceful note. "I never wanted to hurt her," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of the situation. "But I also won't let my name be dragged through the mud. I know who I am, and I know what our relationship really was. It wasn't about money. It was about two people trying to make something work, and in the end, it just didn't." Moving on. As the dust settled, it was clear that both Shannon and John were on separate paths. Shannon continued to navigate the world of reality TV, her every move scrutinized by fans and castmates alike. John, on the other hand, seemed content to return to a quieter life, away from the glare of the cameras and the drama that came with them. "I've moved on," John concluded. "I hope Shannon can too. We had good times, but it's over, and I just want to put this whole thing behind me." But in the world of the Real Housewives, where drama reigns supreme, it's never that simple. As fans eagerly await the next episode, one thing is certain: the story of Shannon Beador and John Janssen is far from over.